track by track for Mr. Paul Enciso. And he wants me to put King Diamond's Abigail against Onslaught's In Search of Sanity. All right, he said, Paul wrote me and he said, Mansion in Darkness is his favorite track. All-time favorite King Diamond track. I would put it in my number 3 favorite. My number 1 favorite is Sleepless Nights. Then, Dressed in White. Then A Mansion in Darkness. What a song. Now, this album, Paul said when he first heard it, he was disappointed because he had Powers of Hell and the Force. And I agree. And I still think it's my least favorite. And it's a good album. I'm not saying it's a bad album. But, you know, I enjoy all the others. Now, I can't find at the moment my Sound of Violence and 6. They have a new album coming out. And I interviewed Nigel Rocket, the guitar player, on my podcast, the VIERA Vault, and he was promoting this right here. Is my 3rd favorite Onslaught album. The last one they released, they got a new one coming out in 2025. Can't wait for it, but this one, man, Generation Antichrist, especially a song, Religious Suicide and Bow Down to the Clowns. Love the hell out of this. This was my favorite album of that year. What year was this again? 2020, right? I believe it was a 2020 album. This was my favorite album of that year. This album is just beyond epic. And I also want to plug this one right here. This one is called Killing Peace. And I told Nigel when I had him on my show that this inspired me to form a thrash band. And I did form a thrash band that ended up touring the world, you know? And it was all because of this album. It's a long story, so I'll spare you it, but this inspired me to start a thrash band, Onslaught. And I love this album. And yes, of course, I own these. And these two cannot be topped. These are the greatest Onslaught albums. And, you know, Paul was telling me he owned both these albums, so that's why he was disappointed. Search of Sanity. And I feel the same way. And I don't think it's a bad album. I really don't. But it's my least favorite. All right, so let me grab this. And I took notes. And here we go. Both starts with instrumental. One is Funeral, the other one's Asylum. Funeral is all like eerie and shit with that weird voice, putting knives in her eyes and head and stuff, you know, kill her. Very spooky and cool. And that's going against Asylum, which is 5 minutes of nonsense. I hate it. It's just 5 minutes of just 5 fucking minutes of it. Loses. All right, next. Arrival versus In Search of Sanity. In Search of Sanity is awesome. It's my 2nd favorite track off here, but I gotta go with Arrival, man. Totally Arrival. All right, next. Mansion in Darkness versus Shell Shock. Yeah, Shell Shock is a badass song, but no, man. Of course, Mansion in Darkness. My 3rd favorite King Diamond song. Paul Enciso's favorite. All right, next. Family Ghost versus Lightning War. This one I gotta say is the closest. I'm still going with Family Ghost, but Lightning War is badass. All right, next. 7th Day of July, 1777 versus Let There Be Rock. They even made a video for that, which is the AC/DC song. They thrash it up. It's all right. But no, I'm giving it to No Bastard Baby. will inherit what's mine. I'm giving it the 7th day of July, 1777. You know, I gotta bring this, it's a very odd thing. I had this friend, his name was Little John. The year after Abigail came out, his father died on the 7th of July. 1988 maybe? 88, 87, can't remember. But I remember 7th day of July. I was like, wow. Anyway, next, Omens versus Blood Upon the Ice. Cool, both are cool, but Omens, man, easily Omens. You want to see a cool performance of Omens with King Diamond? He did it with Pantera, and they filmed it, and it's on YouTube. Watch King Diamond play with Pantera doing the song Omens. It's awesome. All right, next. The Possession versus Welcome to Dying. I love them both, but I'm finally giving one to Onslaught. This is my favorite song from the album. And it's like a ballad type thing. And I never really noticed this before, and Paul Enciso said it in the message. It has hints of Sanitarium from Metallica. And after he said that, and I listened to it today, I was like, yeah, I can hear it. I can totally hear it. Yeah, it's long, but it's awesome. It wins. All right. Next, Abigail versus Power Play. Easily Abigail. Want to see a real cool performance of Abigail? Look at its pro shot on YouTube. Tim Ripper Owens singing Abigail. Fucking phenomenal. All right, next, the last song. Black Horseman versus Confused. Confused is an Angel Witch cover, and it's all right, but Black Horseman by far. So Paul, there's the final score. And there you go, man. Abigail, man, it's just too cool. See, it might have been a bit harder to put that against Power of the Hell or the Force, or even Generation Antichrist. Those three would be a better competitor, but... And I'm not saying In Search of Sanity is bad. It's not. Onslaught's just this killer band that just rules. And check out the interview, VIERA Vault, I did with Nigel Rocket. And he talks about, you know, re-recording this album and, you know, the shit he went through, you know, first major label. He goes through all that stuff. It's a really cool interview. Check it out if you can. And thank you again, Paul Enciso. You rock. And everybody out there, if you know these albums, leave it in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And ring that little notification bell. And like the video. It's good for the YouTube algorithms. So stay frosty. Listen to Black Sabbath. And smack 'em a gob.